What is going on, everybody? Critic and the Common Man here with a review, the long-awaited review of Fight Mortal Kombat. Streaming now on HBO Max and in theaters. Just dropped a couple days ago. Chris and I, of course, watched it right away, and now here we are putting up our review.
Literally the day of, yeah.
You. Yeah, day of. I got a question for you, man, before we get into this.
Yes, I played the video games.
What do you see yourself doing in retirement? Like, what do you see retired Chris doing on a day-to-day?
Retired Chris. On a day-to-day, probably going to the Disney parks. Not every day.
Okay.
Right. I don't know. That's a good question. Reading?
Yeah, I got down this weird rabbit hole on YouTube where I started watching this dude who basically has like an animal sanctuary and he saves all these animals. I could really see myself doing something like that, like moving out to the country, getting a bunch of land, really and then just rehabbing a bunch of animals. I don't know.
And then like fitting battle armaments to them, like giant claws and stuff, and then making them fight.
Exactly, making a lot of money in my retirement selling tickets to these shows in the barn. Which,
and are they animals at that point? Are they robots? Cusco. Where's the line?
Yeah, exactly. Ethically, I think you're good there because once you strap enough armor and stuff to them, I think once they become more metal than they are flesh, I think the ethical line is safe.
So if you just take off the limbs and then attach robot limbs, you're good.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I think we're good. Sounds very Mortal Kombat-esque, which is a perfect segue into our review for today. All right, everybody, this is your spoiler warning. If you have not yet watched Mortal Kombat, this is a full review, spoilers included, so jump off of this, watch it, definitely watch it. It's not that long, under 2 hours. Come back and then watch this review and see what you think. All right, man, here we are, Mortal Kombat. I'm going to let you start us off with this, Chris, because, of course, you played the games. You're a little more familiar with Mortal Kombat than I am. I've played the games, but I've never, owned the games. I always played it on somebody else's console.
I guess it's the same for me, but I played it a lot.
Okay, fair enough. So what'd you think? As somebody who has, of course, played the games and knows the characters fairly well, what'd you think initial reactions on Mortal Kombat?
Right away, the acting is about on par with the original. It's not like Oscar. I mean, okay, here's the thing. Before I say anything, I did not expect this movie to be great. I went into this movie knowing what it was, which is just an action movie based off a video game, and people are only watching this because of the fatalities. That's what you want.
And that's such a big part of this too, because sorry to talk over you here, but just to kind of spitball off of that. Dude, I've seen so many negative reviews for Mortal Kombat, and they're trying to compare, trying to say that it wasn't this, it wasn't that.
What were you watching it for?
Yeah, if you go into Mortal Kombat with the expectation of it being anything other than what it was, aside from a couple points that we'll bring up in a little bit, then I think you're setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. But yeah, go ahead. So expectations being in line, what'd you think?
So, I mean, I liked the main character. Holy shit, what's his name?
Hold on, I got them all pulled up. I know it gets really hard, especially for someone who doesn't play the games.
That's his name.
Yes, Cole Young.
Which I guess his father, this actor, I guess, was trying to do a lot of different stuff, and I read that this was he was in Deadpool 2. And he thought it was his big breakthrough, but then his character got killed off in a really funny way, and so basically he's been trying to break into the acting scene for a while, and I guess his dad, and he's a martial artist, but I guess his dad worked on the original Mortal Kombat as well, probably as a stunt guy or maybe as one of the characters. I'm not sure. I tried to look it up, couldn't really find a lot of information, but he said in an interview that his dad got a start on Mortal Kombat, and he feels honored to be able to continue the legacy of his father. So that's cool. Yeah. Now, so with that said, I like the character. He's got his family which for whatever reason didn't seem to mind the fact that he just disappeared on them after they were attacked, and they were just having dinner like normal. A lot of loopholes here and there, a lot of weird shit, but the basic story is the same as the original, which is, in order to save Earthrealm, you have to have these warriors come together for Mortal Kombat, and the winner, and they give you the text at the beginning. Everything is laid out for you. It's not a hard story to follow.
Right.
Bad guys win equals bad. You know, like it's not that hard to follow.
Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty straightforward. It's
Yeah.
pretty cut and dry. These are the good guys.
Yeah.
These are the bad guys. You want the good guys to win.
the entire movie is pretty much a cameo of all the different characters that you can play as, and you
Definitely.
see them throughout. I mean, one of the first ones you see is Reptile, which is cool. The opening sequence was pretty cool. Seeing, oh man, what is his name? I always forget his name.
So it's Bihan.
Bihan,
but that's
and
is that
Hanzo.
Sub-Zero?
Bihan is
Hanzo,
Sub-Zero.
that's right.
And Hanzo
Bihan is Sub-Zero, and then Hanzo is the other guy. That was intense.
Yeah,
dude.
and Hanzo is named
intense.
after a famous samurai from Japan. I also love that it was Japanese versus Chinese. Like, that's really cool.
That was cool.
But the actor who plays Hanzo, who plays Scorpion, he's in a lot of movies. Most notably, I think for me, would be Last Samurai. But
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Sanada, that's what it is. He is an incredible actor, and I love him. I love his acting. So it was really cool seeing that whole sequence with him, and then the rope on the fucking. What a sharp,
dagger.
yeah, what a sharp tool to be using for gardening. But you know, hey,
Seems a little.
like when he picks it
Hey,
up,
what
it even
was,
like it's like a little shovel thing. But when he picks it up, it's like
Right.
shing. Like, what are you cutting?
Jesus. You gotta cut an eye out with that thing. What was the name of the Australian guy? Was that Kano or Kano?
Yeah.
That guy made
hilarious.
this movie to me.
Yes.
That guy made this movie to me. He was really funny.
When Liu
dude.
Kang puts his arm on his shoulder and he's like, the fuck? He was great.
That guy for sure to me made this movie. He was hilarious. He
Yeah.
was kind of just right as far as comic relief goes in this.
Yeah, he was like, sit tight, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit in these fucking chains. Like,
he's like fighting the dude. Oh my god! And I'm sorry, people. I never really played the game, so I'm sorry that I don't know the
I
characters.
apologize
He's fighting the guy that
on
can
my
shoot
better
the fireballs.
on behalf of my better half.
He's fighting the guy that can shoot the fireballs, and he's like, all right, no Harry Potter shit this time.
Liu Kang, yeah,
When he's like getting ready to fight him, good humor in this all the way through.
Yeah.
I appreciate that for a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. Look, knowing what it is going into it, knowing it's not going to be some Emmy award-winning thing, I actually loved this. I thought it was really cool.
It's a bunch of awesome fight sequences.
Fuck yeah, and the combat was intense and the characters were cool. The only thing, now that we've said our opening statements on this, I thought there was supposed to be like an actual tournament.
Yeah,
I
I did
thought
too.
that
I didn't expect this.
Like, I didn't really get when they were coming together to fight. I thought there was actually supposed to be the tournament. I thought that's what this was going to be.
Yeah,
But
I
there
wanted to
wasn't.
see
They were,
people
like, trying to-
surrounding them and like cheering and that
Yeah,
would've been
yeah.
dope.
I thought that's what we were going to get. But it was like they tried to kill them before the tournament even started.
Yeah.
So now is there going to be a tournament and like a sequel of this?
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe because they're kind of hinting that they're looking for other warriors.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of news. Like when I was looking up stuff about Mortal Kombat, there was a lot of news about how they're trying to make this a franchise. This is not, but it's basically they have even said it's all dependent on how well the movies do. If the first one comes out, this one and does really well, which I think it's doing very well, and apparently it's killing it at the box office. It's the highest, and not that this says, not that you can really. You have to take this with a grain of salt because it's 2021, 2020 craziness. But this was the highest grossing R-rated movie of 2021. Which,
Even
again,
it
how many
grossed
of them
more
are-
than Backyard Bitches 3.
Yeah, exactly. How many other movies are even out there right now? So take that with a grain of salt. But that being said, it's clearly doing well, and I think a lot of people wanted to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, people, and I think most of it comes from like fans of the games. I will say, like, dude, I was just waiting for the next cameo and the next, like when they showed Goro, the four-armed guy. He's from the original.
Dude, that Reptile was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Man. That was a cool character that they created.
Reptile
He's
is
like
dope.
an invisible lizard beast. That was pretty scary. Yeah, he was pretty scary. man.
Cabal, which is the one that Kano had encounters with in the past. He's the one with the cool sword.
The guy with the mask.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and like the red eyes.
Yeah, Cabal is
will
my
say-
choice
I will say.
when I play the games. I love Cabal and I love Sub-Zero. Those are my two guys.
Hey, you know what I noticed about Cabal? He had that distinctive Mortal Kombat voice. You know when like the characters are coming out onto the scene
Yes.
and they always like do the little
he
banter.
sounded like
It's
Brooklyn
like one
or
line.
something. Yeah.
there's like it's almost like there's like a filter on their voice, and it's like, you're done for.
Yeah.
And then it's the next guy, and he's like, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
It, like there's something about, like you hear something in their voice. It's some sort of tone thing. I don't know how it all works, but I swear, like if you don't mind, Chris, I don't mean to put a bunch of editing pressure on you, but put in a clip of Cabal's voice, like voice line before he fights. I'm sure there's something. I'm sure where he's like, yeah, he's like, welcome to the show.
It's just gonna be
like,
me like silhouette, just let's do this.
It's just you, like the Star Wars kid, like spinning around in the back. Like, oh, wrong clip. He was dope. So let me ask you kind of a stupid question. I'll ask you a real immature question just for the sake of this movie. Were you disappointed that the women in this were not dressed nearly as slutty as they are in the video games? Because, dude, like in the video games, that chick with the dagger, if I remember correctly, wears basically nothing.
Yeah. Also, there weren't very many women in it at all.
I don't know how many women there are in the game.
Oh, there's so many, dude. There's a ridiculous amount because of the boobs.
Oh yeah.
There's Katana.
There's like a cheetah girl, right? Or is that Tekken? I always get really confused.
I don't think there is that, but no, there's definitely there's a lot. It's weird because I don't know if they were like shying away from the sexualization because they wanted to open it to a market of like everybody, but at the same time it's like pretty much only guys are going to watch this. You know,
well, and I think they're trying to make it a little more
politically correct, I guess.
And I don't even know. I don't think politically correct, because come on, I mean, Jesus, it's insane.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to make it a little more inclusive, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it is kind of bullshit that like all the women in those games are like so over sexualized.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe they're probably doing themselves a favor to try to avoid the kickback that they would have gotten from the women that want to watch this too, and that's fair.
I will say
that is bullshit, dude.
It was pretty cool watching Sonya not only get her powers, but I think in the original movie she also kicks Kano's ass. Nice. And so I think it was a nice homage.
I'm just imagining if the tables were turned on this and all the women were just wearing like normal like fighting clothes and the men were just like straight moose knuckle like super spandex throughout the whole thing.
Dude,
you're like, oh,
lui-kang, when he takes off his shirt and he fights and he just flexes. Holy shit, that guy is ripped. Like the fireball guy, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, there's one moment when he just kind of flexes and you see like his muscles like stretch. Like I literally went like, holy shit, I want that body.
No, dude, I had to go. Yeah, well,
not even like I don't want it. Like I just want it on top of me.
I want it in the room with me while I have my body.
I just want to pet
understood.
him. No, that dude's ripped. And the original Liu-Kang was the exact same physique, dude. It's just like he's got like the lines on his chest. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like Goku.
Kind of a prerequisite, to be in the Mortal Kombat movies. You kind of have to have the
Blew
look.
my mind.
I mean, they weren't going to cast me. They were going to cast a fucking stick figure for some of these roles, dude. You got to have some muscle.
That's funny. There's a guy named Stick Figure. No, there isn't.
Yes, perfect. They're looking for a super scrawny white dude for the next Mortal Kombat. I would expect that this one did well enough and was received well enough that there will be another Mortal Kombat. Hopefully, in this sequel, we actually get the tournament that I thought we were going to get.
Yeah. Also, shit, who was the guy who played Raiden? He was from a movie.
The guy who played Raiden was Tadanobu Asano.
Yes, he is from something that I just saw, and when I realized who it was...
Oh my God, my wife just told me who he was, and we just watched this.
Yeah.
God dang it, hold on. No, he is. Oh, I know what it is. Do you know what it is?
No, I don't.
I know one of the things that he's from. He is, drumroll please, he is Lao from The Dark Knight. Do you remember him in that?
No.
I'm pretty positive that's him. That's the guy who's like, Chinese will not extradite one of their own. He's like the guy who the mob sends to China and Batman goes and grabs out of that building and then like skyhooks. Oh. That's him.
No, he's from something else.
Something else. All right, hold on.
He plays Hogan in Thor and Thor Ragnarok, the Asian guy.
That's it. He was in the Thor movies.
Yeah, he played when they call him Jackie Chan.
That didn't pop up. Why did that not pop up? Rotten Tomatoes, man, failed us once again.
We have
that's
Gimli, Xena, and Jackie Chan. that's. But
I don't know.
The only thing I didn't like
liked it, man.
was go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I actually expected it to be worse. To
I
be
did
totally
too.
honest with you, I expected it to be worse. I was, in full disclosure, pleasantly surprised with this dude. Would absolutely watch it again.
I'm gonna say, and this is gonna make me sound like such a dude. But well, before I say that, I did like the original Raiden from like the original movie is like one of the
Yeah.
coolest characters in my opinion, and I didn't like this Raiden. I didn't like him in this one.
He's the one that can throw his hat.
That's Lao. With the
Oh, that's Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung is a different one.
What? I don't remember.
He's Liu Kang's quote unquote brother is the one who can throw his hat, even though they're not actually brothers. Which might be Shang Tsung. I think it is Shang Tsung.
Sure.
No, he also had the hat, but he's the one. He's the Thunder God with the
Right,
eyes.
I remember him from the
eyes
games.
were so
Yeah,
dumb.
I
Like they
remember him
looked
from
better
the
in the
games.
original movie. Like his eyes looked
Yeah,
like
you
somebody
wanted
went
him,
into Photoshop and added a glow, and then that's it. I was like, you
Yeah.
couldn't do anything cooler than that. The lightning was cool, but I will say, for a Mortal Kombat game or movie, I wanted it to be more. I wasn't satisfied with the fatalities. I wanted more gruesomeness. Like Sub-Zero's death
That's-
wasn't
yeah.
that intense to me. Like he just got burned to death. When in the video games they would have like ripped out his spine, and while he's still breathing,
Yeah, like don't shy away.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't shy away from it, man. When you make a Mortal Kombat movie, you got to know what you're getting into, and that is some serious fatalities.
like, and I'm not.
We-
It definitely deserved the R rating, but I feel like some of the fatalities could have been so much worse. Like,
I think this is a movie that could have gotten. This is one of the few movies that could have gotten away with saying "fuck the ratings." We're gonna make this as gory as we can.
Hell
And
yeah.
even if it ends up being like a not rated movie, everyone's gonna know why. You know what I mean? You're going into it to know
I feel
why.
like the goriest death was like the girl getting her like the blast through her. You know, and I love that it made like a
Yeah.
perfect circle, but her spine was still there. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a little weird. That was a little
Like
weird.
it just split
I,
down the center. It doesn't get bone.
Yeah, so I guess that's the question. The kind of my question for you here is: do you feel like it held up to the Mortal Kombat name? I mean, do you think this was a good representation of a beloved video game in a movie form?
Think, oh man, I don't know. They did their homages. They definitely they brought the characters in, but I feel like when it comes down to like the video game aspect, not really. Not that it didn't live up to it. I just feel like it could have done more. But they had moments when they said, test your might. That's something they said at the beginning of the rounds when they said the word fatality and thing. They were doing all of the things right. I just wish they had gone like just one notch up, because the most gruesome fatality that they could think of was the thing through the hole through the stomach, and then like the Sub-Zero hitting him right here, like with the
Right,
knife.
stabbing him in the
I don't know.
trap.
I wanted more decapitations and exploding, and I don't know. God, I sound like such a
See,
dude.
but that's to
More
me
blood.
that's fair, because that's the kind of stuff you should be saying. Like the reviews and stuff that I've seen where people are like, "Oh, this movie, the plot was blah blah blah, and it needed like." Fuck all of that, dude. We're not going into this movie for that. If anything, you should be saying, was it graphic enough and was the action cool enough?
Yeah.
That's really what we're rating this movie based off of. We're not asking if this is going to win Academy Awards. Nobody cares. We're not watching Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat for that. What we want to know is, was it badass enough? Because that's why you play Mortal Kombat games. To me, I think I'll agree with you there. I think they could have upped the ante a little bit more. Could have done with a little bit more intense fights and a little more maybe power usage.
it's
I think.
yeah. Also, it's a very like there's multiple powers that these characters have, and they didn't really use most of them.
Exactly.
I
They didn't have these guys just spamming buttons at each other
Yeah.
like I do when I play.
By
You know
the
what I mean?
way,
I just didn't feel.
the biggest homage that they threw into this, which I thought was hilarious, was when Kano kept getting swept.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're playing somebody and all they know is that one thing, and so he said, "Is that the only move you know?"
Yeah,
like
that's
that was
good.
totally.
That
They
was
were
good.
throwing it back to that, and
They
I
threw
loved
that
it.
in there, yeah.
Um,
It didn't take itself too seriously. That is
No.
funny though. It's just the fighting is literally like it goes to the first time they fight, and it's just them like making weird moves at each other. You're like, what the
Yeah.
hell? It's like, oh yeah, this looks like the Mortal Kombat I know.
I love when he gets his laser eye too, and he's like, "It's better than a fucking fireball, isn't it, you fucking pussy?" Like,
Yeah.
that was good. Overall, like I laughed. I liked the action sequences, but when it comes down to it, the movie itself is an action. It's a very violent action kung fu movie, and I have seen some amazing kung fu movies, and I feel like it just didn't live up to like the level of choreography that it could have been, and the level of gore that is expected from a Mortal Kombat game, especially some of the newer ones. So overall, I feel like they could have done more. But
I agree with you, man.
for what it is, I enjoyed it. You know, it was quick enough that I didn't feel like I wasted my time. You know.
I will say with this one, the ratings actually come in just about exactly where I'd expect them to. So the critic score for this on Rotten Tomatoes comes in at a 55%, which, you know, it's, as a critic, yeah, I could imagine you could maybe rip this thing apart. Audience score so far is coming in at an 87, so people are responding well to this. It's people are responding well. What do you think? Where are your scores at compared to that?
Just a little higher than the critics. I'm at like a 6, maybe a 6.5.
Really?
Yeah, maybe a 6.5.
Okay.
If just because the original film, I felt, as shitty as it was, had a little more substance to it. There was more of an attempt at a storyline, whereas this one felt like, here's some characters we're going to throw at you and they're going to fight. And that's, I mean, there wasn't any, like there, you actually got to see characters developed in the other one where they're going into other realms and you see more of where these people are coming from. I can't remember his name, but there's like this Native American who like has these wolf spirits around him. Dope character.
Nice.
You get to know a little more of them and you see what these characters are up against and why they're fighting and all that stuff. There were just a few moments of that in this one. It was more about the action than it was about the story. Not that I expected much, but I feel like the original Mortal Kombat movie just delivered a little more, as much as they could for the time being, for the time that it was made, I should say. So,
all right, fair enough. So
I'll give it a
you're stuck
6.5.
6.5? Yeah. Okay. I'll come in a point higher. I'm going to come in at a 7.5. I thought for what it was, I mean, for a Mortal Kombat movie, it was there. Just wanted a little more action.
Yeah.
Wanted a little bit more substance. And I did want a little more substance in the plot, as far as I thought they were actually going to have like a tournament, which didn't happen. But, you know, other than that, I wasn't really expecting much plot out of this.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm fine with that. But as far as just being an over-the-top action movie goes, I thought they could have taken the leash off a little bit more and just let it be more over-the-top and more action.
Yeah.
But actually, acting wasn't horrible. No. There was some that it was a little stale, some characters, but action was there.
Kano made the movie for sure.
Kano was hilarious. Yeah. There was a good amount, the right amount of comedy in a movie that made it feel like it just didn't take itself
the
too
scratch
seriously.
Across his face. At least you can't fucking tell.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it was there. It was a funny movie, and it was actiony. It was good. 7.5, I think, is for me a pretty fair score.
I will say, here's the other thing.
Go ahead.
Cole's character, correct me if I'm wrong, people, I don't think he's in the games. For a character that was made up, I did not like that he was wearing like black spandex and then like armor. It just, his character,
is he not in the games?
I don't think so.
Ooh, man, I don't remember that. Yeah, that's pretty big if the main character is not even in the game.
He's not in the game, and so I think they're kind of setting up like a new line of characters that they'll probably put into the games, but I just didn't like his design at all. It looked weird. It looked
kind of cool.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like him?
I wish there would have been more to it, but like he was literally still in his pants, and then his upper body, like to here, was just like, I don't know, it felt like plastic armor.
Metal. Yeah, but that's kind of Mortal Kombat-esque, isn't it? I mean, these guys, like, there's always characters like that, where there's the Australian dude who's just wearing some fucking Crocodile Dundee outfit, and yet he's got a laser beam. Like, that's kind of part of it, I think, is that they're not always, I don't know, maybe, let us know down below, guys, what do you think? What do you think of Cole's character? You got anything else, Chris, for Mortal Kombat before we jump into our current event real quick for today?
Shit, no. I was trying to come up with a
You wanted to
fact.
pull some arbitrary fact out so bad right there. I could feel it.
No. Did you know that octopuses actually have 8 arms, not tentacles, and squids have 2 tentacles?
What is the difference between an arm and a tentacle?
A tentacle is an appendage that ends on suction cups, whereas an octopus has suction cups along the entire thing.
And so that's considered an arm.
Mm-hmm, I guess, yeah. I'm not making this up. You can look at.
You're really digging deep in the vault, man. I have never heard an octopus's tentacle referred to as its arm, but There you go. Did you ever watch that My Octopus Teacher thing that was on Netflix?
No.
There was literally, dude, people at work were trying to convince me to watch this. I'm not going to watch it. It was like this documentary about this guy who got like a semi-erotic relationship with an octopus. And they're like, oh, it's amazing. He goes back.
I'm glad
and
I'm not the only one.
Learns things. He's like, the octopus has taught me how to have the most powerful orgasm of my life.
No.
It's not that, but it may as well be that. It's weird. Anyway, all right, we're out of here, guys. Mortal Kombat. If you guys like what you had to see, thumbs up, thumbs down, fair is fair. If this is your first time watching a Critic and the Common Man review, we'd appreciate a subscribe. Check out some of the other stuff we have to offer. As always, hop over to our Instagram, Critic and the Common Man on Instagram. We have all kinds of conversations and stuff going on there. criticandthecommonman.com. You can see all of our rankings for everything we've ever put out. TV shows, movies, short films, all that stuff. It's all there. All right, Chris, give the people what they want. Zoom in on that pretty face of yours, and let's get out of here.
Back up.
Oh.
Back up.
See you, everybody.
No.